and welcome to my channel. My name is Kelsey. We are going into our 6th year of homeschooling with a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and I'm so excited today to share our group subjects with you guys. So I know a lot of you are still in the planning and buying stage of curriculum for next year. We are actually year-round homeschoolers, so we are finishing up our school year in the next couple of weeks, and then we will be jumping back into the new school year at the very end of June, beginning of July. So I already bought all of my curriculum back in April, and I have it all ready, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, because this week I'm sharing our group subjects. Next week I'm sharing my 5th graders. I can't believe I'm saying that. And then the week after I'm going to be sharing my 1st graders core subjects. So you guys, this year has been a whirlwind, and next year is going to be even crazier. When I was praying over what curriculum to buy this year, I just really felt God telling me to get something that I can use with both boys that kind of does the work for me. I have spent the last couple of years really creating a lot of my own curriculum for science and social studies and grammar and all sorts of things, and honestly it was taking me hours every week, and I really just felt like I needed to get something all in one that I could use with both of my kids. And really I just kept hearing the word connection as well. I feel like that's something that's really we've struggled with in the last couple of years in our homeschool. And as a homeschool mom, that's not what I want. That's one of the things I love about homeschool, is the ability to sit on the couch and snuggle with my kids and read a book. And so I'm very excited to share with you what we're going to be using this year. I do want to disclaim that I fully admit that I judged a book by its cover with this curriculum. I had heard about this curriculum way back when Liam was in kindergarten or 1st grade, and I couldn't get past the cover. I'm a very visual learner. I have a graphic design degree. It's very hard for me to get past that, but I eventually did, and this is one of the curriculums that I researched, and it is the one that we are going to be using this year. This is going to cover our social studies, science, music. It's going to cover art. It's going to cover poetry. It's going to cover all of our family subjects. So I'm very excited to share that we are going to be using Bigger Hearts for His Glory. This is one of the curriculums by Heart of Dakota. If you've never heard of Heart of Dakota, they are a Charlotte Mason inspired all-in-one homeschool curriculum. You have your, like I was kind of talking about, your group subjects, and then you have your core subjects. So they're kind of divided in that way, which makes it really nice. That's something, when we used My Father's World in kindergarten and 1st grade, we really struggled with that. My son had a really hard time with their phonics, but I really loved all the rest of it. And so I went back and forth between My Father's World and Heart of Dakota, and just decided to go with Heart of Dakota this year. And so I actually purchased this used on eBay, and when I got it, it was literally like falling apart. I did not pay very much for it. I think like $20. I think brand new it's $80. So I decided to go with Bigger Hearts for His Glory. It is designed for 7 to 9-year-olds with extensions for 10 to 11-year-olds. So my son is going to be 6, turning 7, and then I have a son who is 10 going on 11 this school year. So a lot of the notebooking and stuff like that, my younger son is not going to be doing, because he's just not developmentally ready for that. And then my oldest son is also going to be using the extensions. So I am going to talk about that more in his video, because I want to go a little bit more in depth with that. But basically with the Heart of Dakota, you have my little handy guide here. Basically, you have your history stuff, your science stuff, more science. You pick a reading program. My younger son is doing all about reading, and my older son is just going to be doing the independent reading with the narrations and the notebooking and all of that. I'm not going to worry about doing a full reading curriculum at this time. We have our devotional, we have our hymn study. Then you can do your different handwritings or copy work, your language arts, which again, I'm going to get in their specific language arts in their own videos, their math, and then you pick your read alouds. So you can do classic, boy or girl interest. We had a little bit from the general interest, we had a little bit from the girl, and then I mainly bought the rest of the boy interest ones. So we're just gonna be doing a little bit of everything. these are an example of their notebooking pages. I actually got notebooking pages for free from their Facebook group, so I'm gonna share those with you here in a minute. But yeah, that's pretty much everything you need. And then my oldest is using the extensions, which I talked about. So I am gonna start with the guide. So you do not get the guide like this. You get the guide in like a bound book. But like I said, somebody had spiral bound it, and the spiral bound was like hanging off, which I knew before I bought it. I thought maybe I could fix it or do something, and I just ended up pulling it all out and putting it into sheet protectors. The Facebook groups for Heart of Dakota are great no matter which program you're doing. There's so many freebies. They used to not actually have notebooking pages, so a lot of people created their own. So this is just the guide. Let me show you. I'll pull a page out. Okay, so this is a week's worth of the guide. So your first focus is Columbus Discovers America. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is one of the things that I struggle with about choosing a specific history program is I don't want like a whitewashed version of history, but I don't want like a woke version of history. That's probably going to be a controversial comment, statement, whatever you want to call it. I believe that the truth is always somewhere in the middle. So I want my children to know the facts, and I want them to know things that you don't normally find in history books that we now know. Things that I didn't learn in school, but things that we now know were true. So I definitely think that I haven't really seen anything in here that has made me like cringe or anything, but I am being leery of that. So if you're with me there we go. So we have reading about history, poetry, geography, Bible study, corresponding music. This is all for day one. And then, so you basically have your Heart of Dakota group subjects. And then on the other side, you have your core, which is your language arts, your reading and your math. And then you also have your read alouds and your science. So that's basically a day. So I think the only box that switches every day is this box. So one day you have geography, the next day you have art, so on and so forth. Last year we really loved doing school 4 days on, and then on Fun School Friday doing like core games, so like math games, language arts games, and then doing art enrichment. We are actually part of an enrichment group last year. We are not going to be part of an enrichment group this year. We just had to do what was best for our family this year, and traveling back and forth and having to sit and wait and all of that was just not going to be a good fit for this year. I would like to do it next year. I really want my oldest to get involved, and my younger son had a blast this past year. So I definitely think next school year we'll be able to do that. But for the upcoming one, that's why I wanted something that included a lot of enrichment. So I think we're gonna save all of the enrichment stuff for Fridays, and then on Fridays we will kind of just do, so like for instance on Fridays you do notebooking, poetry, Bible study, your timeline, music, language arts, all that. So we just won't do language arts and math and all of that. We'll just do the notebooking, the timeline, poetry, Bible study, some of the geography, all that. We're not gonna follow this to a T, I'll tell you right now. We're not gonna follow this to a T. That seems very overwhelming to me, and if there's one thing I've learned homeschooling for this many years, it's you make it work for you. And I am not gonna stress about doing every single box in this curriculum. Okay, so now for the student sheets. So these are the ones that I got for free from the Facebook group. As I said, all I had to do is print them out. So there's various ones in here, just basic notebooking pages, mapping, talking, you know, notebook, Charlotte Mason style notebooking. Also had these science sheets. So the scientific theory, question, guess, procedure, conclusion. So I printed some of those out. They also have other science, so that's for the experiments. Then they have other science notebooking papers. I will also mention, when I bought the guide off of eBay, they included the notebooking pages that come straight from Heart of Dakota, but it was only like 13 through 34, so it was only about half the lessons. And honestly, I like the ones from the Facebook group better, so we're just gonna go with those. And I just kept the other ones back in there kind of for reference or whatever. So As I said, my 5th grader will be doing the notebooking for the science, the social studies, all of that. And then my younger son will just be participating without the notebooking aspect. So this curriculum goes from the time of Columbus to like, I think like more modern times, like 1960s. So that's kind of what we've been studying over the past year and a half anyways. But I think this is really gonna wrap it up, and then we're gonna go more into ancient times next year. So I really wanted to find something that would incorporate all of the stuff we hadn't gotten to yet, and even go over some of the things that we had. So this is one of the books that we will be using for social studies. This is called Journeys in Time, a New Atlas for American History. So I think you're reading like 2 pages at a time out of this, like every couple days. This is another one that we will be using. It is Stories of Great Americans for Little Americans by Edward Eggleston. This is literally just no pictures. So you just read like Washington is Hatchet, and it's a front and back page. Another one we will be using is A First Book in American History, again by Edward Eggleston. And again, very much just, I'm sure you're reading a page or 2 or an excerpt or whatever out of that. This one does actually have a few pictures. And also the story of the Wright brothers and their sister. Not very many pictures. Gonna be a lot of reading this year, guys. I'm gonna try to find as many audiobooks for these things as I can, because yeah. So for science, we're going to be using a Pioneer sampler. I have heard so many good things about this book. I love like learning about the pioneers and Little House on the Prairie and all of it. So I'm really excited for this book. One Small Square Seashore and One Small Square Woods. So these are just cute little picture type books. Science in Colonial America. So the thing I want to mention about all of these is that this is the Charlotte Mason style curriculum. So these are not going to be like dry, boring textbooks. These are going to be like living books that tell a story that really get your kids engaged. So it is a lot of reading, but it's not going to be like dry, boring textbook style. Another one of our science books is John Audubon, Young Naturalist, and Thomas A. Edison, Young Inventor. So I gotta be honest, when I was researching this, I actually was thinking I would go in a totally different direction, made some of my own curriculum and all of that, and I just knew I would not be able to keep up with it. Funny enough, after I like felt like this is what I should do, and I purchased all the curriculum and everything, we got some really exciting news that is going to really impact our school year. So God definitely knows what he's doing, but I did purchase some of this stuff because I really love it. So even if you don't want to use all of this curriculum or even this program, some of these things like this right here, Hymns for a Kid's Heart, Volume 1. If you are a Charlotte Mason type homeschooler and you enjoy doing hymns, or you just enjoy doing hymns in your homeschool, this one is really neat. Like the story of the hymn, it has the actual hymn with the music and the words, and then it has verses and prayers to go with it. So this is really neat. Even if you just did this like once a week, this would really enrich your homeschool. So this is our devotional. We are actually doing the little pillows, and then I think the next year up in Heart of Dakota, you actually use morning bells. I got almost every single thing from eBay used all in one go. So this had both, so I just went ahead and got it, but this is going to be our devotional. So they're just really 1 or 2 page little devotionals that we're gonna be doing. One of our first read alouds is going to be George Rogers Clark, Boy of the Northwest Frontier. We're really excited about this because we actually used to live where he founded. So we're super excited. We're planning on taking a field trip back there to check it out. Super cool. I'm really excited about that. Another one is Snow Treasure. Justin Morgan Had a Horse. The Indian in the Cupboard. Scripture Sleuth. Liam, is my oldest, is really excited about this one. Balto and the Great Race. Rascal. Whipping Boy. Encyclopedia Brown. Stuart Little. Homer Price. And Farmer Boy. By the Great Horn Spoon is also on there, but it's also in Liam's extension package. So either we will read it together or he will read it by himself. So as I said, I pulled a little bit from each of the read aloud packages, so we're not gonna read every single one of these books, but when we get to one kind of in the same time era, I'm gonna have my kids pick which one they want, and the books will get read eventually. I know that they will. So also included in this curriculum, you are able to do Bible memory work. You're also going to be doing different copy work and things like that. So overall, I'm really excited about this. You know, it seems like you kind of read a few chunks from a little bit of everything every single day. At the end of the week, you do some notebooking and some timelines. You do some oral and written narrations. And it just seems like it's gonna be one of those things that we can do snuggled up together on the couch, and me not have to be running around at the beginning of every single week trying to plan all of our units and getting a million books from the library and everything like that. We should have everything that we need for our group subjects right here at home, and I will have to get some of the art supplies and things like that, but I'll be getting those before we start our lessons so that I can just go to the closet and pull those out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure, if you have not yet, to subscribe so you can see my 5th grade curriculum and our 1st grade curriculum coming up in the next couple of weeks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know down in the comments below if you have purchased your homeschool curriculum, what you plan on using. I love researching homeschool curriculum. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.